Hello, today I'm going to read The Christmas Gift by Francisco Jimenez. It's a true story. Beautiful pictures. A few days before Christmas, Panchito's family decided it was time to move again. Panchito did not mind too much. Miguelito, his friend, had left 2 weeks before. Besides, it had rained most of the time they had been in Corcoran, picking cotton, and Papa, Mama, and Roberto, Panchito's older brother, had gone days without work. Sometimes in the evenings, Panchito and Mama had to go into town in their beat-up black jalopy, looking for food in the trash behind grocery stores. They picked up fruits and vegetables that had been thrown away because they were partly spoiled. Mama sliced off the rotten parts and made soup with the good vegetable pieces, mixing them with the bones she bought at the butcher shop. She made up a story and told the butcher the bones were for the dog. The butcher must have known that the bones were for a family and not a dog, because he left more and more pieces of meat on the bones each time Mama went back to buy some. As they were packing to leave, a young couple came to their door. "Paisan," Papa said, inviting them in. The man wore a blue faded jacket and khaki pants, mended at the knees. His young wife had on a simple brown cotton dress and a gray wool sweater, worn at the elbows and buttoned in the front. Taking off his cap, the man said, "We're sorry to bother you, but with all this rain and my wife expecting a baby, well, we thought perhaps you could help us out a little bit." He reached into a paper bag he was carrying and pulled out a wallet. "Perhaps you could give us 50 cents for this. Look, it's pure leather, almost brand new," he said, handing it to Papa. Shaking his head, Papa replied, "I am sorry. I wish I could, paisano, but we're broke too." When Panchito heard his papa say this, he panicked. Broke? But not like last year, he thought. No, this time Papa and Mama will have enough money to get me a ball for Christmas. Ever since he was 6, Panchito had wanted a red ball, a ball to toss in the air, to catch, to twirl, then to drop and watch as it bounced up and down. At school, he would pretend one of the balls belonged to him, but the black number on it always reminded him that it belonged to his classroom. "Please, how about 25 cents? The man was still holding out the wallet to Papa. Before Papa could answer, the man quickly pulled out from the bag a white embroidered handkerchief and said, "How about 10 cents for this handkerchief? Please, my wife did the needlework on it." "I am very sorry," Papa repeated. "It's beautiful," Mama said, gently placing her hand on the woman's fragile shoulder. "May God bless you." Papa then walked the couple out the door and partway to the next cabin, where they continued trying to sell their few belongings. After Panchito's family finished packing and loading the cardboard boxes in their jalopy, Papa threw the mattress on top of the car and tied it with ropes to the front and rear bumpers. He then closed the door to the cabin, and they headed north. They were leaving only 3 weeks after Panchito had enrolled in elementary school. As they drove by the school, Panchito saw his friends on the playground. He imagined playing with them with the red ball he would be given for Christmas. He waved to them, but they did not see him. After stopping at several places and asking for work, Papa found a rancher who still had a few cotton fields to be picked. He offered them work and a tent to live in. It was one of many dark green tents lined up in rows. They unloaded the car, placed some cardboard on the dirt floor, and laid their wide mattress on it. All of them, Papa, Mama, Roberto, and Panchito's younger brothers, Jose and Juan Manuel, and his baby brother, Ruben, slept on the mattress to keep warm, especially during chilly nights when the freezing wind pierced the canvas walls of their new home. The closer Christmas drew, the more anxious and excited Panchito became. When December 24th finally arrived, time seemed to stand still. One more day, Panchito thought. That evening, after supper, Panchito's family sat on the side of the mattress and listened to Mama tell the story of how Jesus was born and how the three wise men traveled so far to bring him gifts. Panchito only half listened. He wanted the evening to end quickly and for morning to come. Finally, sleep overcame his brothers, and they all huddled together and covered themselves with army blankets. Panchito could not sleep thinking about Christmas. Once in a while, Papa's words, "but we're broke too," entered his mind, but he pushed them out by daydreaming of playing with his very own ball. Thinking the whole family was asleep, Mama quietly slipped out of bed and lit the kerosene lamp. Panchito covered his head with the blanket, and through a hole in it, he watched her, trying to see what gift she was going to wrap. But she sat behind some wooden crates that served as the table and blocked his view. Panchito could see only her weather-worn face. The shadow cast by the dim light made the circles under her eyes look even darker. As she began to wrap the gifts, silent tears ran down her cheeks. Panchito did not know why. At dawn, Panchito and his brothers hurriedly got up to get their presents that were placed next to their shoes. Panchito picked up his, placed it on his lap, then squeezed it with both hands. It felt hard. He nervously tore the butcher paper wrapping. When he opened the box and looked inside, he was dumbfounded. It was a bag of candy. Roberto, Jose, and Juan Manuel looked sadly at Panchito and at one another. They too had received a bag of candy. Trying to search for words to tell Mama how he felt, Panchito looked up at her. Her eyes were full of tears. Papa, who was standing next to her, lifted the corner of the mattress and pulled out from underneath the white embroidered handkerchief. He tenderly wiped her eyes with it and handed it to her, saying, "Feliz Navidad, vieja." Panchito saw Mama's eyes light up when she saw her gift. She looked so pleased, so joyful, just as she had when his baby brother Reuben was born. Panchito took a deep breath, then opened his bag of candy. He reached in and gave a candy first to Mama, then to Papa. He hugged them both and said, "Gracias." Author's note. Most of us have a favorite Christmas story to tell, one that we have read, heard, or experienced. The Christmas Gift is a true story. Like all of my short stories, it is based on an experience I had as a child many years ago. It took place in a farm labor tent camp in Cocoran, California. My family had moved to Cocoran that winter to pick cotton after having picked grapes in Selma. It was a very difficult winter. It rained day after day, and we went weeks without work because we were not allowed to pick when the cotton was wet. Our family, like many other migrant families living in that labor camp, struggled to make ends meet. Some people, like the couple I describe in this story, sold whatever items they could to buy food. I recall that young couple as vividly as I remember my mother's face that Christmas Eve when she wrapped our gifts. And every December 25th, I recall that experience, that special Christmas gift. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.